I just wanted to introduce myself, I guess. I've had this channel up a while here. My name's Dan, and I guess I'm a sailing enthusiast, but I've not always been this way. I think I started out a sailing enthusiast, and then I kind of lost it, and then I started it again. So I just thought I'd put together just a little note, just to answer the question why I sail. I was asked by I guess some members of the family, because I've made a life change for myself, and really the question I think is not why do I sail, but more of a why did I change my life. So for me, answering that question, why do I sail, I probably have to start a long time ago. I grew up in the Maritimes, in a small community, or just outside of St. John, and there's a lot of boats, and it is marine life. Like, you don't think about it necessarily because of the buildings and houses, and people have homes and beautiful parks and everything, but there's always this flair of Maritimes. There's anchors around, there's rope, the wharf downtown, and there's always these ships coming in and out. And so I was always exposed to the marine life growing up. And then I remember watching TV with my dad, and we used to watch Jacques Cousteau, and doing his adventures, and he was explaining all the marine biology and marine life out there, and how I guess he was an early conservationalist, and I just was amazed. I was like, wow, that's like really cool stuff. And I kind of started to dream a little bit about that. And a lot of our family trips were at the ocean, the Bay of Fundy, and there were boats and yachts, and I just sort of always kind of dreamt what would it be like to be visiting and strange faraway places, and scuba diving, and seeing the underwater world. And it really captivated my my imagination. So I guess when I was young, I kind of said, well, I wanted to be a marine biologist, and I was planning to go to the University of Miami, and then it just I never ended up going down there. When I was 10, my dad got a job and relocated the entire family to Ottawa, and we were landlocked there. So in Ottawa, you don't have any, you're not in the vicinity of the ocean at all. The Great Lakes were kind of close, but not really that close. And then the Ottawa River, there was some boating there, but just, it was sort of out of sight, out of mind. And my being landlocked, my dream of sailing kind of got pushed out of my mind a little bit. So I ended up going into computers and following a career in that field. And I guess I shouldn't say that I never sailed, because my uncle had a boat, and he had a what's it called, a Beneteau First 285, and he took me out quite a bit in the early years that he had it, and when he lived in Ottawa, and I learned how to sail with him. And then I'd say, like, over the years I had sailed just different boats, friends. I had been out on the water, and I always kind of felt drawn towards it, but I just was not exposed enough, and I couldn't figure out how to get it in my life. And like I said, when you're in the city, like those kind of dreams, they just don't formulate. So life went on. I got married. I had some children. I got married to a beautiful and amazing woman, and I've got three amazing kids. They're all amazing in their own unique ways. And I started a business. I was, essentially I've been self-employed since I was 16. Out cutting lawns in the beginning, but I've been running a business for a while, and we've grown it to we have quite a few employees, so it's it's there's a lot of challenges. You put a lot of your personal resources into it, your time, you get sucked into it, and for various personal reasons, my life became more about work and not enough about my family, which I regret. So as I immersed myself in my work, I wasn't there enough to support my family and what they were trying to achieve, and I regret that. I was doing the wrong things. I think going back about 5 years culminated into a visit to the doctor, and I didn't know what was kind of wrong with me. The stresses and doing all the wrong things were affecting me physically, and I didn't understand what was happening. And the doctor said, "You know what? You're not going to make it if you carry on the way you are." And that was a mind change for me. I just started reflecting on what was important in life, and I realized I'm not going to be able to see my kids get married or have grandkids, or see them in just whatever they're trying to achieve. And I had just doing the wrong things was drinking too much. It was going out to restaurants too much. It was focusing on work and my personal goals at this point. They were like beyond parked. They were out of mind. So I had work goals, but I just was not working on the personal goals. I was overweight, on the verge of being a diabetic, that kind of thing. And my family has heart disease, and I just wasn't gonna. I was not doing the right things. Like I said, the doctor was scared the life out of me. So, or I guess the doctor put enough words to get me thinking correctly. So I went to see a specialist on how to balance my life, because I was so engrossed in things. I was unreceptive. So I think I was unreceptive to people who love me telling me what the right things to do, and I needed to get my mind clear. So I went to talk to somebody about that. I said, how can I get balance in my life so that I can be there for my family and for myself and my work? How do I do this? And I learned about a technique which was just to help identify. It's kind of like you need to be a whole person. So a whole is round, symbolized by round. So you start with a dot in the middle, and then on all these axes coming out of the middle is like your family, your wife, your children, your work, your finances, church, religion. It's kind of like body, mind, spirit, who you hang around with, sports, music. What are the influences in your life? And I had this mutated star pattern coming, and it's supposed to be a circle. And so I had like excess of certain things, and I had nothing in certain things. So I needed to. I learned that if I didn't find balance in my own life, then I was not capable of being there for my family and for my personal goals. It was interesting actually to learn that. So I started trying to say, well, how do I balance these things out and focus on these areas? And that's what I decided to do. So I started getting back to sailing. Aside from like all the other things in my life, I reduced my work exposure. Still being self-employed, it's difficult. It's hard to manage. And the last 5 years has been a transition for me, moving away from work a little bit, and I put my family through a lot. I'm very grateful for my family to be there for me. They've been awesome. I'm a lucky guy. So I started reoriented what my activities were, and sailing was a part. And I said, well, it's been so long, I didn't know if sailing was something that I would enjoy. So I decided to check it out. I needed something personal in my life. That's my personal goal. And I need some family goals too, and I needed some to listen to what their goals are and fit that in somehow. But for just I'm only talking right now about my personal goals. So my personal goals, I didn't know, because I had been focused so much on work for so long, like I had gotten it out of my mind. So, I started going to the beach and just walking and doing some soul searching. And I came across this catamaran club on the beach in Burlington. And there was a guy there putting equipment on, and I just went over and talked to him. And he was a nice guy. Just explained to me what to do and how does the boat work and how do you get into the club. Obviously you need a boat. So I said, well, I'm going to just try this. It didn't seem that expensive in the sense of the grand scheme of things, a small catamaran. And I scoured the internet, and there's a variety of prices of things, but I ended up finding one on Kijiji for $600 for it included a trailer, all the sails and everything, but it needed a bit of work. So the decks were soft. I ended up cutting out the fiberglass and redoing the decks on it, painting it, but it had all the right pieces. The sails were decent enough to sail. So I ended up getting that put together, and I remember pushing it out onto the beach that first time, nervous, like butterflies in my stomach, because I watched a bunch of YouTube videos about catamarans flipping and not flipping, and I was like, okay, pole pitching. I was like, I knew how to sail, but I had no experience with a catamaran. So I said, okay, I'm going to go out there and do this. So I pushed it out there, and my inaugural sail was with my brother. So we said, okay, let's just go with this and try. And the rudder was caught. The tiller was caught. The rudder was a slight angle, so we push it out and it started arcing, and the wind caught the sail, of course, and the boat just did like a 180 and went back into the beach. Of course, the boom swings across, smacks my brother, and I was like, oh my god, this is a 45-second inaugural sail. That's how much we got done. But you know what? After we persevered, you push. And, I ended up solo sailing that thing, at least 50 to 100 times on Lake Ontario. After that, that first step into the water broke the ice for me. So I'm grateful for my brother for coming out for that, helping me. And, when I was out there, I remember I was amazed at how the wind, it was amazing. You get this brush of wind, and you can close reach into it and get upwind sailing. I was like, wow, that's like, I was just amazed. And I knew almost at that first few sails that, okay, this is what I'm missing in my life, whether it be the sport or being out and just engrossed by the power of the wind. And I started almost immediately scouring for the internet for maybe a larger boat, kind of understanding my uncle and his cruising experiences. I've been out with him a little bit, so it kind of pointed me in the direction. I was like, I think the bigger boats were what I was looking for, and I came across a lot of YouTube channels which kind of said, that's kind of getting me back to the Jacques Cousteau, going out and exploring and exposing hopefully in the future the family to new areas and new experiences. So after about a year and a half, almost 2 years of scouring the internet, I literally every day I went to different marinas. I asked them if they had any abandoned boats. I'd check classifieds, Craigslist, just something close. And most of the stuff was out of my price range. I had a modest budget. What do they call that? Beer budget. I had a beer budget, not a champagne budget. So I needed to find something that was cheap, and I came across this boat. And like I said, after every day, it was on Kijiji in Grand Bend, 3 hours away from me. And I'm almost embarrassed to say the cost, because I ended up selling my catamaran more than the price of the boat. So I literally traded up my 17-foot 1984 Mystere catamaran to a 1975 35-foot Hughes 1500 North Star. And it didn't work. It had a dead engine. It had no working electronics. Everything was original. But you know what? I'm going to say there was fiberglass issues, like some flakiness on the outside, but it was not structural. The hull on this thing's like an inch thick. It is a very solid boat. I'm really impressed by it. And one thing that I discussed it with my wife, and she encouraged me to go for it. So I'm really grateful for that. Yeah. So I literally bought it on the spot, and it's really given me the opportunity to actually spend some time with my son in a way that I wouldn't have been able to, without it. When I bought the boat, I brought it back down to my field office, and we started the video series. My son helped me repairing the hull, sanding and painting, and just helping out. And I could see all these little projects. I just kind of let him, but I didn't do it for him. And he's a very capable guy. And he found the confidence to do the things, and even start chatting a little bit on the channel. And I thought that was awesome. So we dropped her into the water, and I had the deck to do. I got the engine going. It turned out it just had a blown head gasket and a dead muffler, or actually the muffler was missing, the water lift muffler. So I put that in and made some adjustments to the motor so that I could get it to work properly, and yeah, it was an amazing experience. I wish that I had learned along the way to follow your heart and not do what your head tells you to do, because you get influence, like go to university, go to computers. It's like the future, right? But it's not necessarily where my heart was. I mean, I don't take me wrong, I like computers, and I've had a rewarding career, I would say, helping a lot of businesses, but my heart was in the marine field. So I think that I should have gotten a job on some boat, marine, otherwise exploration, and sailed the world, and seen different ports and different countries. That's really where I should have been doing. So I decided to pursue that now, even though it wasn't in the cards for me in my life. I've decided to do it in little bits, and this video channel that I put together is just to help document the journey and share my knowledge. And I'm eternally grateful for the subscribers that are subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate that. Some of the comments get me thinking about things, even though they might be just questions. They help me think about what other people are thinking. And my method is to go to YouTube or Google for information, and I find that if you follow kind of a general rule that 7 people are doing it one way and 3 are doing it the other way, well, the 7 people are probably on the closer of the right path. And I followed a lot of manufacturer advice and that kind of thing. So just trying to share that knowledge here in the channel, especially when I've decided to go green. There's not too many people doing that. At least where I am, and going with solar panels, electric motor conversion, all that kind of thing. It's there's not a lot of information on there. Like, there's little bits and pieces, but so I'm just trying to document the journey to show what worked, what didn't work, what did I learn, just so that maybe it helps somebody else. And yeah, so again, appreciate watching the channel. Just wanted to introduce myself, give you a little bit of background before I get too far. Since I looked at it and I said, I can't believe I've made 50 videos on this channel. So thank you for
why
watching.
do I sail? Getting to be the end of the season. It's cold. I don't mind the cold, but I sail because I guess number one, it's given me the ability to actually include my family more in some of my personal goals. Being able to work with my son has been awesome. My wife's come down and helped out now. We've managed to take a couple of trips together. You'll see maybe in some future videos some of the challenges we had doing solo sailing and night sailing. But we've gotten some vacations together, and just we're just tipping our foot into it. So for me, that's a big thing. And then number two is like sailing is what I should have been doing 30 years ago. I should have gotten a career in the marine industry. I'm not afraid of hard work. It's one thing my dad's taught me at an early age. I remember I wanted to buy a kite, and he didn't have $1 to give me a kite, but he got me a paper route, and we went around door to door, and it taught me how to ask for money and get money and work for it, and I went and bought that kite. So life isn't given to you on a silver platter. You got to work for the things that you want, and if you work at them, you stick to it, you'll get them. So for me, I didn't get the career in the marine space that I probably should have. I didn't follow my heart. I did what people kind of led me to do. Computers were getting big, back in the 70s, 80s. I don't want to age myself too much here, but I had a good career in that, but it just wasn't what my heart was. My heart was to venture out and explore new places and be amazed and learning about the waters and the planet that we live on. I'm respectful of that. It's one of the reasons why I'm trying to do a green boat with my electric engine conversion and all that. Self-sufficient or self-sustained living I can do. So I sail for that. I sail because it's where my heart was many years ago, and it just wasn't in the cards for me in my life. So you can't live in the past. You have to figure out how to live forward, and for me that is pursuing my childhood dream and doing it in bits. I hope my family joins me for some of it, all of it, pieces of it. It's my goal, it's not their goal, and somehow we can fit it into what we're trying to achieve here all together. I know I'm going to be the better for it. I know that it's making me more whole, and it's giving me more ability to support them in what they're trying to do, and that's why I sail.
He's getting it. Yeah, be careful of its undercurrents here. What happened to you?
Something in what? Okay. I'm walking the sand dunes at San